What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Perry Walker, aka Don Walk, and I am having a dilemma here. I'm having a love and hate relationship between Logic Pro and Fender Studio 8. And last week or the week before, I can't remember, I made a video about how good Logic Pro's stem splitter is, and I still believe that. There's no other DAW that I've messed with whose built-in stem splitter is as good as Apple's. I've even tried the one in Suno, I tried Serato, I haven't tried Moasis, but from what I've heard, it don't sound as good as Apple stem splitter. But I have one problem with Logic Pro, and that's how it handles chopping up samples. Now, I've watched tutorials on how you can load samples into their simple sampler or whatever you call it and put it in split mode. And yeah, it kind of sort of follows my little trigger pad, my little Akai MPD 218, but it doesn't give me a graphical overview. And I've looked, I've searched, and if there's something like that in Logic Pro, please let me know, guys, because I'm new to it. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so right here I have a song. It's a group of loops I'm working with. Now I'm producing a new song. And I needed the samples chopped up in a certain way. Now, I already pre-chopped these samples, and there's plenty of videos online about how to chop up samples like this. You could, like, for instance, you could right-click and split at grid, or go to events, split at grid in Fender Studio. But I wanted it split a certain kind of way to where the tricks that you would use usually in Fender Studio don't really work with this type of sample. But anyhow, as you can see, they're split into, like, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 splits, right? Now, what I like about this, I can highlight all of these, right? Or even after I split them, I could right click, and if you don't use this tool a lot, go to audio, send to new impact, and voila, it populates the pad. Now, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is something that I do not see in Logic Pro. I've searched, I've looked, I've even tried the drum designer, and it it's it reminds me of working with the old Akai S950s and S10,000. You know, the rack mount samplers. Those of you who know about that era of sampling, that we had rack mount samplers before we had samplers attached to keyboards. And you would sample and you would edit them, but you would trigger them via a keyboard or something like that. Something, a MIDI device, kind of like what you do today. But you really couldn't see. You had to kind of like keep messing with it and moving it around. And that's what Logic Pro reminds me of. Like, see, I can, and it's a real seamless, smooth, easy process. And it even have uh, editing for the each pad here. You know, you can do one shot loop, normal. You can like hit one pad and then shift and copy them all, and then you can say follow tempo and all the other stuff, and you can even quantize them all. Let me put follow tempo on them because I want them to follow tempo. But I just don't see any of that in Logic Pro. And trust me, I'm not bashing on Logic Pro. I gotta learn it because, like I said, my church is going to start using it in streaming services. So I'm taking a course on it, but it's easy to record in it. Like if I wanted to record, but to do what I've been doing in Fender Studio, it seems like I'm having to go back to a like the mid 2000s, right? And it's not as easy. Like I can even with this, like I could bring up this drum pad deal, which is tied to any of my MIDI devices, but I use it with my Akai MPD 218. I can per se, let me see, this drum track here, right? Say if I want to drag this whole thing here, right? That's real simple. I can size it up. I can use my mouse wheel without using crazy key commands and having to remember all that stuff. Because I don't have the best memory. So trying to remember all these stinking key commands is just crazy. Now, Studio One has key commands as well, but the only ones I use is when I'm doing like editing with the cursor, right? One for select, and then 3 for cut, and 4 for erase. That I remember. Or maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know. Maybe that's it. But I want something as simple as possible, right? And doing this to me in Logic Pro is not an easy endeavor. Please let me know, guys, because I am struggling, right? I've gotten to the point where I can actually record and mix and add effects to tracks, but using the sampler and how it chops things, and even some of the how to navigate through Logic Pro, it's a bunch of key commands, shift, swipe, shift this. I'm like, why can't it just use the mouse wheel? Why can't it have like let me bring this up. For instance, why can't you just do that? Now, uh, Logic Pro has the little slider, right? But why can't you just use your mouse wheel? And it doesn't work with the mouse wheel. I don't know why it doesn't. Maybe I need a magic mouse. I don't use a magic mouse. I don't know. But you guys, please let me know. And this is no shade against Logic Pro. Like I said, from working with it with the little bit I have done, it's works seamlessly with my Mac. It's not taxing on the CPU. I like the way the stem splitter split stems because it's really, really clean. And I know they say DAWs don't have a sound, but when I mix something on Logic Pro, it seems like there's a more lush, full sound than when I'm doing it on Fender Studio. I mean, Fender Studio is quick. The UI, the user interface is more modern. At least to me, it's more modern. But there's something weird about the sound, and it's not just me. I've heard it with even the guys that are experts at Fender Studio that do the little classes. When I listen, I hear that weirdness, like it's a thinness. But with Logic Pro, it's like it's a thicker sound. I don't want to say tape, but it has some sort of it sounds more full. When I record vocals, it sounds more full. That's why I am trying to learn it, because I want Logic Pro to be my main driver in my creative process as opposed to Fender Studio. But as of now, I just can't let go of Fender Studio because the things that I need, the tools I need are so readily available in Fender Studio. The ease of chopping up samples and placing them on pads is so much easier. And even some of the navigation or navigating or moving around inside of the DAW, without having to always use key commands, I can use my mouse to automatically shift, widen it. Let me show you. Again, I know I'm going back and forth. Let me get rid of the mixer. Like, for instance, I can use my mouse to scroll up and down, or if I want to scroll vertically, I just can click down here and I can do that, right? I can't do that on Logic Pro. You got to either physically grab it or you got to do a shift mouse wheel or something like that, which is to me, it's like, man, I'm not gonna remember all that. Well, I guess I am. I'm gonna have to, you know. Maybe I'll get used to it, but as of now, I don't know. I don't know. But you let me know, guys, and school me, educate me, point me to some videos that teaches you how to do the sample split and assign them to like a drum pad, or if there's a drum pad type of VST in Logic Pro, let your brother know. Till next time, I see you on the next one. Peace.